All right. All right. That is something new from Ashes of Jupiter. They're out of Albuquerque, New Mexico. Yeah, you're going to have to check them out. They got a new EP coming out, and that is like a fresh cut on. That's one of the rough cuts, actually. They send me all the stuff as it's going forward here. I'm just going to get us all set up here for the evening. There we go. We got my buddy Bob, a.k.a. Dirk Vanderbeef.
Dirk's in the house.
Dirk is in the house. Let me see. We move that source. There we go. We got a side by each now. So, actually, I was going to say that a little bit differently. So hang on a second here. I got to do something different because it just can't do it justice. On the show tonight with me is my special guest, Dirk Vanderbeef.
Thanks for that intro, man. I appreciate that.
Well, I just had to go over the top tonight for our first live stream together.
This is our maiden voyage right here.
Yeah, this is it, man. We're like a couple of virgins going out. All right. So Bob, why don't you tell people a little bit about yourself? Because some of the people on my audience are not some of the people on your audience, right?
They're not.
Well, I don't think so.
They should be.
I know they should be. I agree with you 100% there, brother.
Yeah, I'll jump in, and I am the owner of WCZR Code Zero Radio, and we play nothing but the independent artist, alternative, do-it-yourself kind of stuff, and that's why we're on the air. So we've been on the air since 2014, currently based out of Appleton, Wisconsin, and we've got 5 on-air personalities.
Wow. And you got you guys you got your call letters not long ago, right?
A couple of years ago, I applied and got call letters. The thing was, at the time I was living in Iowa, and anything west of the Mississippi starts with a K. All the call letters start with K. Well, I lied and I had WCZR because I wanted to be recognized as a station out of Appleton. So when we finally moved here to Appleton, I reapplied for my license. I had to renew it anyway, and I kept WCZR as the registered call sign.
That's pretty cool. That is absolutely cool. I'm having trouble with my other screen. My other screen just froze up on me here.
Computers do that.
It's just doing stupid shit right now, and I don't know why.
Is it going through an update?
I don't know. It wants to throw up all over me. Hang on a second here. I'm just trying to get over to some stuff that you sent me, and so we can. Whoa.
We had a guest in the studio today for the Ike Garumba show, and we were pressed for time, and he brought a couple of songs that we were going to throw into the show, right?
Right.
And he brought his laptop, and he was just going to put them on a flash drive, and I was going to plug it in and get it up real quick. But when he opened up his laptop, it starts updating. And it's like,
oh, man.
I'll just email.
I know. Isn't that a bitch when it happens? It's terrible when that happens. Hate it.
I'm not a big fan of the updating when you're trying to work. That's my time. All right.
Yeah, I know. And Windows is bad for doing that. And then the update take forever. And then there's always a restart.
Yeah. You're supposed to be able to do it manually.
Yep.
But my problem is I would forget. And I would probably be missing an important update. And I don't want... Well, the last thing I need is some kind of virus or something like that. So
exactly. Okay, I'm going to switch something out. You sent me some stuff here. I'm going to share the screen with everybody at home so they can see this. They're not going to see you, and they're going to see me down in the corner here. I can move us up here on the side. Maybe that's a little better there. And you sent me this music streaming app revenue and usage statistics 2022.
Yeah, it's a brand new chart.
Yeah, it's a brand new chart. So,
first of all, let's say hello to our guest on the chat. We got Steve Neville.
Oh, hang on a
George
second.
Knight, Maggie. Thanks for joining us.
Jesus, I am so bad. Hang on a second. Let's go here.
Oh yeah, Thanks for tuning in, guys.
There we go. Bob Minter, have underpants. We'll travel. I love that one. There we go.
Steve is from
George
Australia, I
Knight.
take it.
Yeah, Steve is in Australia. Yeah, he is. He's got a couple of project music. He's a musician.
Is it like 14 hours ahead of us? It's tomorrow, right?
It's already tomorrow there.
It's already. So Steve is basically time traveling.
He's time traveling right now with us.
I'm blown away, man.
George Knight, thanks for joining us tonight. Thanks for joining, man. Awesome. George says he's indie.
What we were going to kick off this show with was the one thing that's on every independent musician's mind is streaming and what's going on with that. And
hey, Maggie,
I'm not the expert on streaming. I'll refer to Ken for the streaming stats, but there's obviously some things wrong with the streaming model, and maybe we could find some solutions. I doubt it, but we'll hash it over tonight, and then we'll move on next week to another subject.
Yeah, I mean it's a weird thing what's gone on with music, because I saw something in one of the articles I was looking at the other night when I was doing some research, and it said back in like 2014, streaming was making more money than it's making now.
Right.
Which was weird, but hey. And the thing that always mystifies me, how does a multi-billion-dollar company like Spotify claim losses every year?
That's that's some pretty creative bookwork, I think.
Are those really, really great loopholes that Donald Trump used to talk about as being in the tax code?
Right. You can, that's why you hire accountants, so you can hide your money. But I've heard say that even if Spotify was to increase their per stream amount to something that was, made sense, it still wouldn't be very much.
No,
so I've been told.
No, it wouldn't be, and it's low, man. It's low. We're talking like 200 and I think on the best day, it's like 263 streams earns you $1
on Spotify.
On a good day, and I think that. And I think the thing is, and this is the thing that's not really well understood about Spotify, is that from what I'm reading, there's different models within Spotify for the way things get remunerated. Am I right? Am I making up shit here or what?
No, they are. They have different models for different streams, different levels, different tiers, and it's very complex. And I think that's part of the problem is artists don't understand how many tiers they got to go through to maximize their stream income.
Yeah, it's really interesting because like one of the things I was looking at last year's stats. So everything up until I think sometime in 2021, but everybody knows who Usher is. He's a mainstream hip hop artist, right? And he made $54 million last year on Spotify.
No kidding.
$54 million. Now he's one of the top earners, right? And there were a couple of other top earners. There's an article here. I'll pull it up. It's
Drake was the highest streaming or the most paid stream on Spotify. Ed Sheeran has the top single streaming on Spotify.
I got to find that article. I need to find that article because it's a really interesting article. So the top streaming apps, okay, they name in this article the top streaming apps, and I'll post the link down below if anybody wants to read through this. It's an interesting read. There's some really cool stuff. So the top streaming apps, I think is this in order, Bob? Do you think?
Right.
Of the most popular to the least popular, do you think?
Yeah.
Okay, so Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon Music, YouTube, Pandora, SoundCloud, and then you've got Tidal, Tennyson Music and Ghana Music, and all the other streaming services that are out. There's about another 100 and I don't know, about another 150 of them out there. So they're not even named on here.
Right.
And isn't there one of the streaming services that's actually owned by an artist?
I think Tidal was owned by I want to say Dre. I'll have to look at it. I don't want to say, but yeah, Tidal is. Tidal was started by.
Yeah, it was started by somebody else, right? Yeah.
Didn't Apple buy that? They own everything.
Who's that?
Let's see. Tidal is now owned by Jack Dorsey's company Square.
Oh my God, Jay-Z, Jack Dorsey.
Yeah, Jay-Z is the one that started Tidal.
Isn't Jack Dorsey the guy who actually stole Twitter from his business partner?
Well, yeah, there's a lot of conflicting stories about that. But
there's a dark story about that in there somewhere. So Jack Dorsey of Twitter fame is now in charge of Tidal Music. Does he own it? Did he buy it?
Yeah. Well, Square, his company, he was with Square before appointed CEO of Twitter.
Okay.
And Square Square's amazingly successful.
There's a whole bunch of techie guys there that were all involved in early tech.
Yeah.
You know, and how Twitter even came about, right? It was kind of cool.
Elon Musk kind of designed PayPal. And that launched his career.
Anyway. So I had it the other way around. So revenue from music streaming has increased every year since its inception. From 2014, it's grew at an average rate of 43.9% and become the primary revenue source for most music labels. There you go.
There's the thing though, right there. Let me look at this article that I found. This guy wrote about
Can you screen share that? Or can you screen share that, or do you want to send it to me?
I'll just I don't know if I can or not. We're kind of new to this, folks, so bear with us as we get.
Send it to me, and you got Facebook Messenger open. Just send it to me. Send it to me in Facebook Messenger, and I'll pull it up and put up on the screen for you. Guarantee I can do it. I that's where I got the other ones from.
Does the birds pop up there?
That's fucking even better. Hang on a second. Is that yours now? No, that's mine.
Yeah, you got on the left there. You got to bring that screen up.
Oh, that one there.
So it's grayed out.
Oh, we got another one down here. Okay, sorry, my bad. There it is.
Okay, yeah, he streamed this album Built to Spill. From Built to Spill. Streamed it 260 times over the course of 2015. So he did the math, and he figured out that Built to Spill got paid around $2.24 for an entire year of music from him.
Yeah, and that's that whole algorithm thing that we were talking about.
Right. Well, you know more about that than I do, so.
Well, I know a little bit about it. I mean, I there are algorithms that exist within all streaming services. Kind of just like there's algorithms in Facebook that tell you, they give you ads suggested on your behavior on Facebook, right? Facebook they're using AI everywhere these days, and they're using AI in streaming services now. And it's interesting because, like I said, I think I got to see if I can find that article. I had like 3 different articles here that talked about what you're talking about right now. How much people made, all that stuff, right? So I'm gonna pull those, see if I can get them.
So we all realize what the problem is. But you hit upon an important point about their revenue growing by 43%. But the revenue that they paid down did not grow by 43%. Does that make sense? And that revenue that got increased, the problem is record labels are saying to their artists, well, we'll get you set up on the streaming platforms, but we're going to take a thousandth of a penny from your thousandth of a penny kind of thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the record labels are still taking money out of the pockets of people that can do it for themselves.
Yeah, and depending on the mainstream record labels are still, they're doing the same thing they basically did all along, right? And that is not giving the artist a fair shake, right?
No, and they never will. They never will.
And it's interesting. So we all know about payola, right?
Yep.
And payola never died. Everybody thinks payola is dead, right? Major labels still pay to get their artists' music to the top of streaming services.
Uh-huh.
I could guarantee you that. And where it's not a fair shake for independent artists is this whole notion that your music is going to be on a level playing field with mainstream music, and it's not.
Absolutely not.
I think it's an illusion. What do you think, Bob?
It is. It's almost like a pyramid scheme, you know. The support from everybody at the bottom supports the very elite at the top. Although, you know, I'm not here to diss artists that have been successful on Spotify. It just seems like there's such an inequality between, you know, because there's great music all the way down. You know what I'm saying? There's great music everywhere. And the labels are eschewing independent artists because they're in a promotion mode of artists they know are going to, you know, sell on TV, sell on football games, that kind of stuff. So it's such an unfair system that I'm surprised that independent artists even participate in the streaming realm. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, kind of.
Other than getting exposure.
It does kind of make you wonder, doesn't it? You kind of have to think about this whole thing and go, you know, sometimes, and that is why some artists have actually pulled their music off Spotify. They've actually,
right.
Aside from this other political thing that's going on right now with a few other artists, a lot of other artists, and I think one of them being, let me think, Prince was one of them. In fact, I think Beatles were another one that pulled their music off Spotify because they really felt that Spotify was cheapening down everything. Everything.
Well, that's, you know, to have morals and values in music anymore is pretty rare.
Well, you gotta wonder that the two co-owners, the two primary owners of Spotify, they're both worth over $3 billion each.
Yeah.
Right? How much money is enough money? Right? And why should a guy who never made music in his life make more than the musicians themselves?
Yeah. Well, you know what? I'll never begrudge anybody for making money, you know, whatever they want to do. But the thing about Spotify is now in 2017, I read an article where they had opened up their new offices in downtown Manhattan, and they were paying $4.25 million a month for a couple of floors in this office building. Now, that to me is wasting money because you do not need that, especially for a tech-driven company where a majority of the people can work from home. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly, man.
You don't need those kind of offices to run your business. It's just there's obviously some ego involved. Plus, Spotify they spent billions with an S on Studio 4 in Los Angeles, which is a collection of podcast studios. It was called Studio 4, and they spent billions of dollars setting that up, and then they paid a few $1 billion for, I think, 3 or 4 shows, one of which was Meghan Markle and Prince, what's his name?
Prince Harry. Prince
Harry.
Harry.
They got paid millions of dollars to produce a podcast at Studio 4 in Los Angeles.
I know.
And they made one episode and never got, so Spotify is burning through money. They're burning through cash.
Do you know what we call
they
that?
have so much. Huh?
You know what we call that? You know what we call that in my world?
Bullshit.
Nope. Here it is. Corporate waste.
It is. It's ridiculous. If you just tighten up the books and tighten up your spending, you could pay further down.
Yeah, it's all corporate waste, and that's probably why they're claiming all these losses. Because, like I said, last year, I think last fiscal year, I think Spotify claimed a $481 million loss.
Jeez,
I know. I mean, how do you? And they lost billions of dollars last year on the stock market, on their stocks going way down. Right?
Oh, really?
I'm talking billions and billions. Anyways, here's an interesting thing. So yeah, you had it right. I had it wrong. But it says here on this particular article, Spotify's 10 highest earning artists have raked in a combined $337 million. That's for 2021. Okay. 10 of them.
That's gross. Is that gross?
Yep. Okay. Well, it says that they raked in 337 million. So they'll have to pay tax on that, I'm sure. Right. But they'll write it all down, right? So this was published a year ago, this coming March 9th, 2021. And they were 10 of the highest paid. So you were right. It's not surprising that Drake was number 1. He was the king of Spotify with 52.5 million earnings, and he got 21.5 billion streams. Right?
Wow.
So
that's a big number.
Okay, so he got 21.5 billion streams, and he made $52 million. Right? He's only making about a penny a stream. So who's raking? So how much did Spotify take in if he took in 52 million?
Well, does he belongs to a label?
Yeah, he's on a major label, and the thing is that he had 21.5 billion streams, but only made $52 million.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure his label got the lion's share of that.
Well, the label and Spotify and all the other people in between, all the middlemen, right?
Yeah.
But Drake might have been lucky to take home 10% of what he actually made on Spotify. Could be. That looks like about a 10. I mean, I haven't made an estimate here, a good estimate of it, because I should probably take a look at that. But if you took the 1.5 million billion streams and looked at 52.5 million and divided those into each other, right? It's going to give you roughly what he got per stream, roughly, right? Anyway, he got a very small fraction of what he actually made. And the next one's down. Interesting here. The first sighting of dance music producers comes in at number 16. The Chainsmokers actually made 16. They had 7.2 billion streams and made $17 million. That's still respectable earning for a year.
Yeah, and if a record label tells you, well, you've done pretty good this year, here's $15 million, the artist is going to say, wow, nice, man, I'm in Fat City, and not knowing that, well, they took home $50 million, in their pockets. But that's the thing about artists. Musicians are notoriously bad at business. I mean, through the 50s all the way to now. And they shouldn't have to be good at music because they're artists. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
Their brains are focused upon creating what they do.
Exactly.
And it's unfortunate so many people take advantage of that. if there was a collective that took care of artists and represented them honestly, I think the music industry would be better off as a whole.
Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons that I really sort of took the approach that I took to running a record label. We split everything we earn with our artists. We take 25%, but they take 75% of every dollar we earn. So they earn 75 cents on every dollar that we earn for them. And they don't have to do any of the shopping around to the radio. They don't have to do any of the distribution themselves. I help them manage their Spotify for artist pages, their iTunes for artist pages, and we try to get them on curated, playlists and stuff like that. So there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff, right, that gets done. And there's administrative stuff because I have to maintain a website. I have to maintain a license with my publisher to publish all the music. And all those things cost in the thousands of dollars a year, right? And
the costs you're incurring?
Yeah, I incur all those costs. I don't pass any of those costs on to the artists at all. We operate a little bit differently, but I don't have money to support artists to go out on tour or anything like that, but they never owe me anything. I've had people send me music and go, well, if I sign with you, how much am I going to owe you?
$425,000.
Yeah, I'm like, no, that's not how it works. It works the other way around. I pay you.
So you distribute the music to all the different download sites. Right?
I do all the digital distribution across the internet. I look after it all. And then I also make sure that it's all properly ISRC coded. I make sure everything is as we register UPC codes for the music. So when we press CDs or we do vinyl on demand, we can do all that shit. Yeah.
Well, so why aren't more artists looking for that model?
Well, some do. I've had to turn a lot of people down because I'm only one guy.
Oh, really? Oh, yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I turned down. I'm like you. You probably get deluged with people sending you music all the time.
Oh yeah.
Like, how many submissions of music do you get a week?
I get around 100.
That's a lot.
Yeah, of which I generally keep between 14 and 18.
Wow. And you have to go through them all.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Now your music, this is a little bit of a plug for you, but I think people need to know what you do because you really help people out. You help people out, man.
Well, I hope so. I mean, that's the whole point of it,
Yeah. You
obviously FM radio is not doing their job.
No, man, you guys do a phenomenal job of helping artists out. So at Code Zero Radio, you guys are a little bit different that way too, because you take submissions from artists. You hold some. You get some stuff that honestly sometimes you couldn't play on the air anyway, right?
Right.
Because it's maybe not produced very well, or it's been produced on a cell phone.
Some of it's pretty bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I get a lot of beats.
Yeah. So you have to be selective about what you're playing. And I've listened to your show many times, man. You guys put some great set lists together. It's cool.
Well, speaking of which, Andy McNamara has joined in the chat.
Oh, is he?
Plugging away. Yeah.
Where are you, Andy?
Thanks for that, man. He's on Code Zero Radio does rock. I'd have to say that I listen to the station all day long while I'm working away, and I just hear the greatest music here.
Andy, get on here with us, man.
Yeah,
you can join us. I can send you an invite, Andy. Do you want to come online? You just send me a message here, buddy. What's that say?
Break that dial. Break it. Just break it and leave it there.
Break that dial and leave it there. All right. So anyways, there's some like some really cool stuff that happened here. And I think it said in this article that I was reading, it talked about where is it? There's something about
farting in a shoebox.
Oh, okay. So have you ever heard of an artist named J Balvin?
No.
So
Never.
J Balvin took the number 2 spot on Spotify on their rich list. They netted $37.9 million. 37.9 million. J
That's
Balvin
net.
took the second place on the.
So he probably got about 3 million.
Yeah, and then it talks about the top grossing tracks. For example, Ed Sheeran's "Shape of You." It was one of the top grossing tracks, right? It generated $6.6 million on earnings, but it got 2.7 billion streams. Again, how much money did the label get? How much money did Spotify get? Nobody breaks that down.
Well, no, they're not going to tell you either.
But I'm gonna guarantee you, okay, that so if you look at that, I got to do some math here, man. Quick in my head.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Here, I'll just do this over here. I put the calculator up there. We'll just do it with the calculator.
Cheating. That's cheating.
So let's see. So 6. Oh God, I don't want to do 6.6 million. God, that's stupid. 6.6. Let's just divide that by 2.7, right?
Right.
No, that can't be right. That's not right.
I think you missed an entry there. 6.6 divided by.
Yeah, 6.6 divided by.
Now he's making me break my phone out.
Right, 2.7. There we go. There it is. 2.44. Right. So
okay.
It looks like he got less than 2 cents a stream, like maybe 0.2 of a cent per stream, maybe. But the interesting thing there is if you look at you look at that 6 point, he had 2.7 billion streams, right? What's 10% of 2.7 billion? Is that 2.7 million?
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's a difference here. Look at the money he made off that single, $6.6 million off 2.7 billion streams. So there's got to be a different remuneration system in there. We don't know what it is. But there's been this sort of idea for a long time that Spotify pays certain mainstream artists more money than others.
Shout out to Jesse Wilson for tuning in. Thanks so much for doing that.
Hey, Jesse, how you doing, buddy? Hey,
launching our official show.
Do you know Jesse?
I do not.
So, okay. So, but you know.
I don't even know my neighbor.
But, okay. So, Jesse is from Fort Dodge, Iowa.
No kidding.
Guess who he's friends with?
Jeremy Ober.
You got it, buddy. He sent me a tune. He actually sent me a tune. It's a whiskey drinking tune.
All right.
Yeah. Right. So I might actually spin it tonight. I told him I'd spin it on the show, so that's probably why he tuned in. He sent me the track.
We should get a sponsor. We should get a whiskey sponsor.
That'd be cool. I'd be up for anything, man.
Yeah.
Anybody know a starting up whiskey company that's looking for doing a sponsorship? We won't ask for a lot of money, maybe just some free whiskey. What do you think, Bob?
And cigars.
Free whiskey and cigars. Do you like smoking cigars?
No, I hate them. But I would do it if for the sponsor. I would do it.
You would smoke a cigar for the sponsor?
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
I might even give him a hand job. I don't know.
Oh my God, that's funny. That's some funny shit, man.
Well, you gotta do what you gotta do, right?
Oh, there you go. You gotta do what you gotta do. So so there's some other things here. You sent me this chart here. It's this global chart of revenue. Revenue for music streaming has increased every year from its inception from 2014 It's grew at an average rate of 43.9% and become the major primary source for most music labels. There you go. Most music labels.
Streaming is king.
Yeah.
So there's a good lesson in there.
Here's an interesting thing. If you try to make maximum return on your music and you've got dedicated fans, right? Always encourage your fans to download your music instead of streaming it.
Right.
Okay, no, here's an interesting
Code Zero Radio.
So here's an interesting thing. I'm looking at what happened there with Ed Sheeran's music, and it looked like he was making I think maybe 2 cents a stream. Hey, hang on a second. Andy just messaged me. Oh, Andy says he can jump on for a few minutes. I'm going to send him an invite. Hang on a second. A third voice in here might be just like all we need, right? The voice is in your head. So I'm just going to send Andy an invite here, and he can jump on board.
We had a guest in the studio today. His name was Mojo Perry. He's from Milwaukee.
Okay.
He's a singer-songwriter from Milwaukee, and we were talking about streaming and publishing rights and all that stuff. And he says he 100% owns everything that he's written and recorded, and he makes more money by playing at shows and selling his merchandise than he ever would with streaming. So he doesn't have any of his stuff available for download at all.
Yeah,
it's wherever he plays. I think he sells like CDs, or he might have a download card, but he doesn't have any streaming services.
Yeah, some artists have actually gone away from streaming services, and they actually are using download keys now.
Yeah. Well, I can understand that, because if you could make more money by doing shows, selling merchandise, then, the whole streaming thing is one less thing you have to worry about, because, that it takes up a little bit of time. As you know, it takes up some of your time to keep all your streaming stuff in order.
Exactly. So it's a funny thing. I mean, I just look at what's happening, with streaming services, and they try to find new and unique ways all the time of sort of screwing over independent artists. I really do find that the mainstream actually provides, they seem to cater to the mainstream. And like I said, I mentioned about payola. That's, essentially where record labels pay to get their artist music played. It's a pay to play kind of deal. And, I know bands, indie bands that have gone to festivals where they've got to pay to be on stage.
Really? That's right. That's right. Yeah.
I'm like, why should you have to pay to play, man? They pay artists to go and play other festivals, but indie artists have to pay in order to play. It just doesn't make any sense to me, really.
When I first started doing this, there was a band from Canada. They were a two-piece duo songwriter. Anyway, they had connections within the industry. They've actually enjoyed some success, and they were reaching out to me to get their music played because they had tried to line up some touring things in Canada, and they found out it would have cost them like $14,000 to go on tour, and they just didn't have the money.
It's expensive, man. It's expensive. That's why a lot of bands, when they're working for a mainstream label, the label pays for the tour, but the band's got to pay it back at the end of the tour. It's only a loan. It's only a loan.
Right.
And I can't remember what mainstream band it was. I'm gonna think it was Motley Crew, and they were something like hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt after one of their tours to their label.
Yeah,
they had to write when they wrote the next album, that the earnings off that whole album basically went to the label.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that's how then you can't escape, because now you're trapped. Now you have to make another record, and you have to write a hit.
Yeah, but think of the shit that they did. I mean, they burned hotel rooms, they smashed televisions and shit like that. Somebody had to pay for that shit. It was the
True.
label. The label
True.
paid for it all, and then they had an accountant in the back room, with the golf hat on, right? Right, and he's on the little ticker tapey, adding machine, adding it all up and going, okay, this is how much you own the label at the end of your tour. Okay, I don't see Andy yet. Maybe he wasn't able to join.
Maybe he had to go to the bathroom.
Maybe. He said he could jump on for a few minutes. Sent you the link, man. Hopefully he got it.
Well, yeah, if he can, he will. Andy's a good guy. Andy is actually a driving force here at Code Zero Radio. He does a lot of video work with the show Core. He's got a lot of great interviews with area artists on Core. And you can check that out on YouTube, Fox Cities Core. Really, really excellent interviews. I enjoy every one of them.
He's a talented dude, man.
He is. And he does all of our graphic stuff, too. God,
I thought that was you doing that shit, man.
No. No.
Oh, man.
Dumb shit to get
and Andy is an awesome musician in his own right.
Right. Yeah. He's very, very good.
Yeah.
I enjoy Pudge.
Yeah, I love Pudge, man.
Everybody should love Pudge.
Pudge gives me a pudgy when I listen to their music.
Pudge makes it budge.
There you go. So it's interesting. So in global music streaming revenue, this goes all the way back to 2012. Started off at about $1 billion in revenue, and by the time we hit 2020, we're up to $18.9 billion in streaming revenue. That's a lot of money.
That's a big industry.
Yeah, it's a big industry, man. And the thing that bothers me, like I said, there seems to be a different pay scale here. So you'll see over here, this talks about, what's happening to music. There's that pie chart, Bob. Oh, I hear Andy coming online there. There he is. Andy, how's it going, buddy?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing great, man. How are you?
Good. I've been enjoying the conversation so far.
It's been fun.
Yeah,
it's been fun. I gotta.
Been up to some. What have you been up to, man? You look guilty. What have you been doing?
Babysitting, Bob.
Okay.
Got
guilty.
Got the kid to bed, so.
Got
on
good
here.
For you.
Yeah. Yeah. So I heard the streaming conversation, and Ken said that should encourage fans to buy the releases instead of streaming. And then Bob threw in there that or listen to Code Zero Radio. I think that last one was probably the best choice. Just listen to Code Zero Radio and Indie Tunes. Listen to both of them.
You don't have to subscribe.
That's true. Right? That's true. You know what? If people wanted to, the thing is that the downside for it is that, I mean, a lot of bands now at least are telling me, we're not really caring so much about how much money we're making. We're more interested in getting our music in front of as many people as we can get it in front of.
Right.
So that sort of fit sort of our music model, right? When I started looking at how I would go about working with artists, I'm going to get rid of that source, and then maybe I can get three of us back up on screen here. I'm just trying to do that. Andy, what am I doing, Andy?
I don't know. I can't see.
You know how to do this.
I got a question. Go ahead, Andy.
I was going to say there should be like a little thing on the bottom that has like 3 squares or something that you can pick.
Yeah, I picked it, and it's not doing anything. It's just it's a Limp Biscuit or something. Hang on a second. I'm going to try that again. Oh, there we go.
Oh, yeah, that's good.
Now we see, and there we go. Hey, There we go. We got you in the bottom corner now. There you go. We got you in the Andy's in the bottom corner. We can do it like this. Let's see how that. Now that's you guys are small, and I look like I'm the overlord. That's bullshit.
Small.
I'm big and you're little. Watch out. Now I feel like my prime minister. He's a dick. Okay. Next,
You can get rid of, I
moving
think
right
if you get rid
along.
of the if you get rid of the chat banner,
Oh,
we'll
we're
see
the
more
chat
Andy.
banner. Let's hide that. There we go.
There.
Now we can see Andy. Andy McNamara, host of Core, right?
Core. Yep. And Midlife Crisis.
Midlife
Core.
Crisis. And then you are, what
Core.
part of Pudge are you? Tell everybody.
The better half. The guitar player and half singer. And then my twin brother's the bass and then half the other singer.
So you guys are twins.
Yeah.
Holy
Yeah.
shit, man. I didn't know. You know what? I never put that together, but then I thought, I'm looking at you guys when you play, when you do your videos, and I'm like, fuck, those guys look a lot alike. Like they're brother. I know they're brothers, but I didn't know you guys were twins.
Well, I was kind of surprised. We sometimes I'm kind of looking at other bands too and wondering, like, are they brothers? And we had on Core a month and a half ago a band called Doozy, and before they came on, I was trying to figure out if the bass player and the guitar player were brothers because they looked, I thought, similar. And I had to like look up the names, and I still wasn't sure even after I saw they had different last names. I'm like, well, they could still be brothers, but they weren't.
Yeah, I've got some. I actually work with some bands that have brothers that are brothers in the band. Darkstone, the two singers in the band are both brothers. So kind of cool.
Yeah.
What is it about siblings in bands that work so well? It's like they know what each other's thinking or something like that.
Same, most of the time, same musical influences. You've got the same experiences that kind of know each other's ticks. And I don't know. I think it's just easier.
You
So did you,
know
did
how
you
to
and
push
your,
each other's
did,
buttons.
I'm going to digress for a quick second here because I need to ask this question. You and your brother, what's your brother's name?
Tony.
So how did you guys figure out when you were growing up, like studying instruments? Who decided who was going to be guitar and who was going to be bass?
Well, we started with just a keyboard, and we were writing songs on a keyboard, and then we're both guitar players, and then we had a bass player, and her boyfriend called Tony and threatened to kill him one morning before school. So we got rid of her, and then we needed somebody to play bass, and we had somebody else do it for a while, and then we just thought it would be easier if Tony did it. So and you hear that a lot in other bands too. Like somebody will get demoted sort of down to bass, and the person that gets demoted is always like, well, I don't mind it.
Yeah,
but they probably minded a little bit.
I was always like,
Tony's been on a string breaking binge lately. So
yeah, it's unfortunate.
A bass guitar player breaking strings.
He uses these Beetle flat wound strings, like break a little easier, but yeah, he's broken quite a few lately, and typically like during bad times to break them. Yeah.
That's bad. That's a bad time to break a string, especially on a bass guitar, right?
Shout out to Shane joining us in the chat room. How's it going, man?
Hey Shane, how you doing, man? Thanks, Shane Sawyer. We got Shane Sawyer online tonight, checking us out. Actually, I had Shane. Him and I tested this out the other night because he and Jess are going to be doing a live stream with me down the road, and we're going to do some live music with them and shit like that. But yeah, so your brother picked up the bass out of necessity, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
I did the same thing in a cover band. It was really weird. We kept having all these problems with bass players. They'd be late for rehearsal, or they wouldn't show up, right? They'd say they're going to do a show, and then last minute we'd have to find another bass player to do a show with us, right? So our guitar player goes, Ronnie looks at me, he goes, fuck it, you're going to learn how to play bass. I said, I like playing rhythm guitar, man. No, you're going to learn how to play bass. So for 5 more years that band continued, we ended up being a power 3-piece. and I learned
Wow.
I learned a lot in that time. But I always played with a pick, right?
Oh, yeah.
And and Geddy Lee says that's a guitar player. That's not a bass player.
Well, what does he
Because you're
know?
not.
What the fuck does he know, right? I mean, seriously.
Did you ever hear Bob's band? What was it? Stew and
Stew meat and the chili dogs, I think it was.
Yeah, you recorded. You sent me a song. Something about what the hell was that song?
Boss, A-hole.
A-hole, a-hole. I think it was a-hole.
Well,
I've
Didn't
got
you do
another one in the works. I do. I just got the lyrics done for it. I was going to have Ike Garumba do the guitar part because it's too technical for me, which if you've ever seen me play. So I'm going to start working on that.
So I'm going to put this back up here. So the three of us are here on the side of the screen now, and we were talking about the streaming revenue. We digressed a little bit, but I love digressing. It's fun. So streaming services in 2021 made up 83% of music sales. And then you've got digital, which is 6%, and physical, which is like 9%, right? But that 9%, it's an interesting group in that 9% because a lot of those people in that physical copy, there's a good chunk of them that are returning to vinyl.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'd be curious to see how much of that percentage is vinyl.
Yeah. My buddy Bob got me into vinyl. You can probably see it back here on my left. There's I have a Yamaha natural sound amplifier back there. And it's like early 80s circa. And then I have a pair of Yamaha 8-inch studio. They're really, really beautiful speakers. And I had them reconed recently. And then I have a dual turntable. And man, there's nothing better than listening to some beautiful warm vinyl.
Yeah. Have you noticed that they're really trying to kind of make everything like a rare release nowadays to get people to keep buying over and over?
Exactly.
There's the different color vinyls. There's the remastered vinyls. Of course, everything that Record Store Day releases and Black Friday Record Store Day and
right
and all of that.
Yeah, so I mean that's one of the downsides of what we've been seeing with streaming is that again, like there's this whole business, and I don't know if you concur with us, Andy, or not. You guys have your music on digital streaming services?
Yes.
Okay, and how does that go? How's that go? Are you making money at it or not? You don't have to tell us what it is. Are you making money?
I don't mind. I mean, once in a while, I think to make money, like to keep the money coming, you have to really be out there touring and hitting up new markets, playing places you haven't played, and we really don't do that. We made a good amount. When I say a good amount, I mean like $1,000 on a song we did with Green Jello, just because it had the Green Jello attachment to it.
Right.
So it got streamed, I think, like 350,000 times or something like that. And we were getting, 0.008 or whatever that is.
Right.
Plus selling the single, which was 99 cents. But then we signed over the rights to Cleopatra Records so that they could put that out on the last Green Jello album they put out. So the revenue stream got cut off for that. But, and which significantly kind of cut back on plays on our other stuff as well, just because I think people were kind of listening to that song and then kind of finding out, the rest of our stuff. But I guess long answer short, not really.
Shane says, and unless you're Oasis, LOL. There you go. There's the Oasis slam.
Well, there's so much I don't understand. Did you guys talk about
do record labels lie to artists when they say, well, you got to sign over your rights in order for us to distribute your music? Is that a lie?
Well, it happens. It happens. Everybody's contract is different, right, Andy?
Yeah, just to kind of talk about what I know, like when we did the Green Jello thing, they said that we signed over the rights to the song. We still retained songwriter status. They said we couldn't put it on the album unless we signed it over. And so pretty much now we can't, distribute it anymore. And
you can't distribute your own song.
No, and we were supposed to get paid for it. We never did. It was like a small amount of money, but they said if it sold, if the record sold, we knew we weren't going to make any money, but it was a song that we had from when we were like 15 or 16. We wrote it. So it was sort of like,
It's an interesting story. Do you know, you guys ever heard of a young, well, she's not that young now, but she was one of the youngest, first ever successful female YouTubers. And she did music. Do you know who that is?
No.
Rebecca Black?
Her name's Tara Naomi.
Never heard of her.
So, okay, so Tara Naomi was the very, very first female or first YouTuber doing music on YouTube who made over 1 million streams. Very first one, right? And she went like crazy, and she's one of the main reasons that YouTube started monetizing everything. Because they realized they could make a lot of revenue when people could get that many streams, right? She had millions and millions of streams. She had one of the most, I think by the time she left YouTube, she had something like 4.4 million subscribers.
Wow.
Right? She was making money hand over fist off YouTube, and she would have made even more money had she been able to start doing endorsements, right? So along comes Columbia Records UK, signs her to a deal. But she has to give up her YouTube channel and her YouTube status.
Oh, that's stupid.
Gone. Yeah. So long story short, she does an album for Columbia UK, and they shelve it. And they put her on ice. They said...
And now she's out of a YouTube channel.
Yeah, she lost her YouTube channel. She ended up losing a record deal in the long run because they decided they were going to go in a different direction and not market her music at all. So they shelved it, and she couldn't even distribute her own music.
Wow.
Yeah, they screwed her over so bad, and
no. She screwed her over. She didn't think it through. She's the one that screwed herself over.
Oh man, there's some bad stuff that went down there. I just have to tell you. And I remember it was years later, 2 record executives were talking on the airplane, and one of them was the UK exec, and he goes, "Yeah, we fucked that one up, mate."
God.
So, I mean, even she could have done really, really well, and they should have let her keep her YouTube channel, right? Because it would have helped sell her music, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So, Andy, you were talking about this whole other thing. It doesn't really break it down into things like vinyl and stuff like that. But I'm going to suggest that 9%, there's a good chunk of people returning to vinyl. That's something that we do. We have a deal with a record pressing company that actually presses vinyl on demand for artists.
That's pretty. How expensive per unit? Though?
It's pricey. Like it's like $30 a unit.
Oh,
right. Yeah. But it's 180 gram vinyl, and it's all done on demand, right? And they ship it directly to the customer, right? So you can set whatever price you want on that, right? And I've been telling people, do a limited 500 copies and sign them, right?
Yeah. And good way to.
What was your experience with vinyl, Andy, as far as Pudge goes?
No, we had
cuts on vinyl.
No, closer to you, we had 500 copies made. We probably have like 120 left yet.
Were they like singles?
No, they were full albums.
Okay.
I would like to do albums again. I think probably not 500. It's just that, the more you get, the cheaper they are. But then I guess the more you can get stuck with too. But
how many songs on that album?
Between 10 and 12.
Okay, so like 6 songs a side type thing.
Yeah.
180 gram vinyl?
I don't know if it's 180 gram.
Probably 140. That's the
Yeah.
next one down. Yeah.
And then we did CDs with everything else, and the CDs, like a lot of the bands I talked to too, they don't even do CDs anymore.
I'm going to have to order a vinyl from you. I want one of those vinyls.
You should.
Yeah, I'll order one from you.
Or just come to Appleton and you can pick one up.
Well, you know what?
You can go to the weekly party at Bob's house.
You know, with the way things are going on here in Canada right now, I'd love to move to Appleton.
Yeah, I don't know, Bob. Do you regret moving here yet, or are you still happy you made the move?
Oh man, I'm loving it here. There's no comparison. I'm telling you.
I think of how much. I think if I moved to Appleton, Wisconsin, I just think of all the great motorcycle riding I could do, because I could, I could slip over to South Dakota, slip over to North Dakota, and it'd be like a day ride for me.
Yeah, right. I mean, lots of great highways around here to.
Oh, there's some killer riding out there, man. I a few years ago I rode around
Stevens Point.
I rode around Lake Superior a few years ago with some buddies of mine. That was a great trip. But yeah, I mean, I digress again. Here we go. So this is this pie chart that breaks this whole thing down. So Spotify made up about 37% or 32.77% of streaming, and then you got Apple Music at 17%. So this breaks it down by order. Amazon Music, it's interesting. Amazon's streaming service has gotten larger. They account for 13.9%. 10 Cent Music, I don't know. Is they related to 50 Cent? I'm not sure.
But
I don't know. It's 10 Cent Music. That's what it says. TENCENT Music. I'm not lying. I'm not making that shit up, man. That's what it says. And then YouTube behind that. Here's an interesting thing. YouTube is 9.93%. And people are starting to listen to music on YouTube. And one of the reasons is they don't seem to compress the shit out of it. Interestingly enough, I think it's because they're used to handling videos, right?
Yeah.
And I heard, here's an interesting
Maggie
thing.
has a question.
Oh, Maggie, you got a question? Where's Appleton, Wisconsin? Where is Appleton, Wisconsin?
Where are we, Andy? Precisely.
So if you're familiar with the United States, it's like, kind of looks like this. And Maggie, if you know where California is, a lot of people know where that is. That's over here. If you can see that. Ooh, I use that background.
There you go.
Now,
let me. Oh, you got a virtual screen going on there, dude.
Let me get my drug den out of the background here.
Your arms disappearing into your background. That's funny.
Okay, here we go. Back to the boring old office. Okay, so there you go. California is over here. Wisconsin is like right about where that X is, right there.
Wisconsin is on the Midwest side of Lake Michigan, right?
Right. And our claim to fame, Maggie, is Butch Vig is from Wisconsin. The guy that is in the band Garbage and recorded Nirvana's Nevermind and Smashing Pumpkins' Gish and just a ton of other stuff. And we have the Packers.
Here's an interesting thing. So Shane says, as an indie artist, it's hard to sell digital music, but to make money on vinyl sales, that's tough.
Well, that's the thing. If you're paying $30 a unit, I mean, you have to sell it for 35 or 40.
But here's the interesting thing. My idea is about making limited vinyl, and you do a limited run of the vinyl. And the thing is, the great thing about that is it's on demand. So the artist is not out a penny. Right? You're not out anything. What happens is you set the back price on the second party vendor, right? They ship it directly to the customer. The customer pays, and this is the other thing. They ship the record anywhere in the world for $4.60 US.
Yeah, I mean that's great if you can, if you've got people that like the music enough to pay for it or pay that much. But
say if you could get 500 fans that said, we would like a special edition record. And the thing is, it doesn't matter how many you sell. It's not about making the money. It's giving your fans something. Because the thing is, the art is already signed, right? It's a digital imprint that sits up there. So when someone orders an album, it gets packaged, it gets shrink wrapped, and it gets sent out to the customer one at a time. Whereas right now, in order for you to get a break on your vinyl, you'd have to buy 100 units, let's say. Right. And that's, kind of where we'd be. I'm going to flip us back to where we were before. Let's see if I can get us.
Yeah. So Shane wants to know now if
the finger.
Shane wants to know if the vinyl you sell won't be made until the sale. So that it's not pressed until the sale is made, and then
so this company that I deal with, they're like I call them the Amazon of music, right? They use robots. It's all pressed in the factory, right? So the thing is, the order comes over the internet. The AI there accepts the order, sends the order out to the factory. They press that one album and ship it out. And you only make off the backside of. So let's say that you wanted to make $10 a unit off the album sales. You could put that into the price, and that's whatever the price will be to the person. And the person will see that when they go to order it, right? So they're going to pay for the price, the $30, whatever you decide to put on the markup. Maybe you don't put a markup on it. Maybe this is about just getting something special out to your fans. It's not going to cost you anything, right?
Maybe
Remember,
you have a pubic hair pressed into the vinyl.
Yeah, pubic hair. That'd be like those guys. That's like those guys on those challenges, right? Did you guys? Anybody? You how did the hell did that happen?
Andy's a wizard.
How did you get? That's my studio behind you, man.
That's my studio behind me.
Yeah.
No, that's my studio, dude. How did you do that?
Well, first I had to buy the guitars, then I had to buy the hangers, then I started hanging them up.
Oh man, you're flipping me out here, dude. I smoked a joint before we started. It's like, holy fuck. You're tripping me out. So Shane, yeah, the vinyl won't sell until the sale is made. So, and the person orders direct, right? And all that happens is we set up a PayPal account and they send the money over to the PayPal account anytime there's money made off of it. But you could make it so it doesn't cost, you anything. You don't pay anything for that on-demand service. They do the same thing for CDs as well. But here's the interesting thing. I can order CDs from them, shrink wrapped with 3 to 4 inserts, right? For like $2 a unit, less than $2 a unit in jewel cases.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, but who has a CD player?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, not everybody has a CD player anymore, right? They're actually talking about now making digital keys, right? The USB keys.
How the hell can we get me off the screen here? I don't want to see. I want to see you guys, not me.
I gotta flip it. I'm trying to flip it, and it wouldn't let me flip it again. I think every once in a while it gets hung up, and I don't know if it's on some sort of weird delay thingy. Oh, there you're on full screen now. There, I'm at the side.
I've been on full screen. Get off there.
I know. I got to get it off there. There we go. Now let me just see if I can flip this. It won't let me flip it. I tried flipping it several times now. Maybe
if you didn't buy your computers from China.
Well, who knows where it was all made? I don't have no idea. Maybe it was made in China.
China.
That's what we're calling Canada now. We renamed it to China. Did you not get? Did you guys not get the memo?
Getting back to vinyl sales, I think the important thing is, since vinyl is still considered a collector's item, that if you're going to go that route, to make sure that you have exclusive content on the vinyl that they're not going to get with download sites.
Hey, look at that one. How you like that one? That's even better. Look at we're side by side by each. Something like that.
I like that.
Yeah, there we go. Right back at you, Bob. Hang on a second. I'm right over here.
So, Bob, when you got up and walked away a little bit ago, we're talking about how like everything now they're trying to make exclusive releases, like white vinyl, red vinyl.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they're trying to do that, to your
Yeah.
point, Shane said he's got a CD player. Damn it. And a six disc,
In my car.
six disc
I have
player
one
in
of
his
those.
car.
There it is right there. I have a CD player. Damn it. I have a 6-disc player in my car. 6. LOL. But I'm old, so there you go.
I had a Volkswagen Passat that had one of those.
That's fucking funny. In the trunk? Was it in the trunk?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember when they came out the ones that would hold like 125 CDs? It was like
right. It's like a
do you remember
jukebox.
that? I know guys that had those disc changers in the trunks of their cars. They were like 125 CDs. It's like a jukebox. Mini version of a jukebox anyway. There we go. That was funny. That was funny. What's this say here?
How is Andy still in your studio?
Enjoy your witty banter, Puff Ken. Maggie. Maggie's a friend of mine from St. Thomas. So yeah. So Maggie, halfway down the west side of Lake Michigan is roughly where these guys live.
St. Thomas, is that near St. Catharines?
You guys are like near Oshkosh too.
Yeah.
Oshkosh, Bagosh.
Bob's closer to Oshkosh than I am right now. If
Right
we
down the
raced
street.
right now, Bob would beat me by like 10 minutes, I think.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. Oh, you're on the far side of Appleton then, right?
Northeast side. Bob's northwest.
I'm on the southwest. If I take the lake route, I can be in Oshkosh in like 10 minutes.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Pretty drive.
That's awesome country up that way too, eh?
Oh my God. You guys probably take it for granted up here. But I was in Iowa for over 20 years and we're just looking at dirt there.
So anyways, this 10-cent music, and it said it wasn't related to 50 Cent, but I want to tell you about the YouTube. I want to get back to the YouTube thing. This is an interesting thing about YouTube. So, Andy, when you guys upload music, who are you using to upload your music? Is it going through CD Baby or what?
CD Baby.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you guys get to pick and choose what streaming services you're going to use?
Yeah, I typically I think I just picked all of them.
Okay, yeah. There's like 160 of them, right?
There's a lot of them, and it's like, okay, select all of them, good to go.
Right.
There's a box on the top that says toggle all, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So a friend of Bob's and mine, Bob Black from Windsor, Ontario, one of your, I don't know if he's still running the shows on ISX or not. Is he? Do you know?
I don't know what Bob's doing with ISX.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's happening there, but ISX Radio, Eastern Exposure Radio, they were in Windsor, Ontario, and that's kind of how I met you too, wasn't it? Kind of from the other Bob.
Right. I was thinking, as a matter of fact, we should have a Factory Fast reunion on Facebook sometime.
There you go, Factory Fast Records.
Yeah, because I met Second Player Score through there.
Right.
I met all kinds of artists that I still play on the station.
Right. Very cool. Yeah. So I was going to use Spotify. I was going to use CD Baby, and Bob talked me out of it, and he sent me some information on a company called DistroKid.
Yep, I've heard of that.
And so what I did was DistroKid actually allowed me to buy. They have an interesting thing. They have a different section for labels, right? So I can buy a label, which allows me to license music for several different artists. I can also license music for covers as well, right? So if you wanted to redo a Pink Floyd tune or whatever, I can get you all the licensing you need in order to publish that song. But the interesting thing about what DistroKid does, and I don't know if CD Baby does it, so you might be able to speak to this one, Andy. But DistroKid automatically sets up a YouTube channel for every artist that I upload music for, and it's under the name of the band, and it says band name and then subject. It's called Subject. And it's a separate YouTube channel for every artist I upload music for. And some of them are really, really growing. Like some of the songs are getting like, 1,000, 1,500, and then it just keeps going up and up and up and up. And I didn't even know I had access to the analytics for those. And people go there and listen to the music because it's free. And it's largely on, so far I've seen most of the time commercial free. But the thing is, if you have YouTube Red, it doesn't matter because you can bypass the commercials, right? You have no commercials.
Right.
But YouTube has been growing, and I think it's the reason they're growing is companies like DistroKid now are uploading to YouTube. Does your music go up to YouTube automatically?
Yes.
Okay, so you have is it under Pudge?
There's a couple different Pudges, so I think it ends up getting goes up under PU or P.U.D.D.G.E. I don't know, and plus there's if you're familiar with World of Warcraft,
right?
The game, there's a character named Pudge, unfortunately, I guess. So there's a lot of Pudge videos. So it's not really the question, I guess, but it's I don't exactly know how it doesn't actually go into Pudge. I'm looking for it right now. Yeah, it goes into P.U.D.D.G.E.
Oh yeah, P.U.D.G.E topic. There's 13 videos up there. Am I about right there? I'm gonna get you in my own way.
No,
that's not yours. Okay.
No.
Well, okay. Here's another one. No telling.
Nope. Yeah. So it's just a mess out there, Ken.
Yeah. You know what? And that's an algorithm nightmare.
Yeah, and I try cleaning stuff up. And the thing is, the age we're in, that's a whole nother topic. As far as duplicate band names, we were a little late getting into some of this stuff. We had Pudge since '96. You almost have to be really quick to get into some of the, sites like when Bandcamp came about, Reverb Nation, different things. If you don't get in early, somebody might get in and get that name first. Which
name me some of the songs that are up there on that topic.
You could do Closer to You would probably come up.
I'm crawling back to you, baby, because I ain't got no legs.
Crawling back. That's freaking funny. Okay. Yeah, I'm not seeing it. It's really weird. You're right. It is there. It is a bit of a algorithm nightmare, and I think that could be cleaned up if you found it and could link it through your website.
Yeah, I mean, we had to clean it up on Spotify originally because there was a rapper named Pudge, and everything was. When we put the Closer to You album up, it went up under theirs, and then we had to reach out, and it took a while to clean that up. But then it's you see somewhere else, it's all messed up, and then somewhere else. And
you just brought up something really good, my friend. Just reminded me of an article that was on here. I'm going to flip over to it. It speaks to that about how the wrong artist music end up on the wrong artist profile. Have you heard about that one?
No, but it makes sense.
Yeah. And it's Spotify that's been doing this.
I was going to ask you guys if you wanted to start a band named Paul McCartney, except with 2 Y's, or the Beatles with 2 S's at the end, and we could put up some songs.
That's funny. That is a good one. Yeah, it's interesting because I have one artist that's the name of another artist, and Spotify has screwed. I keep getting the wrong analytics for the wrong artist. And you know how Spotify has that Spotify for artists crap?
Mm-hmm.
Well, for whatever reason, this other artist with the same name as one of my artists, I get their analytics.
There's an important lesson to be learned here.
I don't know what the fuck they're getting. I have no idea. Go ahead.
Huh? I like
what
tasty,
are you
Bob.
Oh, wait a minute. What is that? Where the hell did that private chat go? There's a private chat there. Oh, YouTube. You sent me a YouTube link.
Yeah, it was a Pudge video.
Oh, the closer to you video. Okay, there it is. There, yeah, yeah.
Uh,
So
when you,
that is, but
as
that's
far
off
as
the
naming a band,
that is off.
when you do name a band, make sure that nobody else has that name, because that's a big problem.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that can be a really big problem.
Yeah.
There's so many, but there's, you know what? How would you know, like a name like Pudge, that all that other shit would come up? How would you know that?
Just do a Google search.
Yeah, the Google search wasn't very good though in 1996, though, Bob.
Well, there goes the Google. There goes the whole Google search theory blown right out of the water there in one go.
But the we talked kind of about this this past episode of Core. We had the band Tuck on, TUK, and he said originally they were Tuck, TUCK, and they tried to copyright it or trademark it, and there's already a band called Tuck that was trademarked, so they changed it to TUK because they could trademark that, even though there was other bands that were also called TUK Tuck, but not trademarked. So then they just stayed that Tuck and trademarked that. So there's bands too that are trademarking it, which I guess is smart. You know, even if there's 5 bands on line called Pudge already, if it's not trademarked, you know, you could go do that. And then I don't know what you would do really to the other Pudges, but I don't think you could do much. Just
you know, it's funny. I had a band for years and years and years, and we did like a massive search on the name of the band when we started up, and it was like, you know, we played in a lot of clubs in the early '90s, and the band was called Tripwire, and a friend of mine that, you know, is a full-time musician came up with the name, right? And then we did a search on it, and lo and behold, nobody had that name. We did like this massive search thing on it, and we registered the name, all that shit. And then lo and behold, years later, I see some young kids came up with the name Tripwire, right? And
Wow.
and they're publishing stuff on YouTube, right? And I'm like, well, that's the name of our band, and we own the rights to that.
which one is you, Ken, in this picture? Is it this guy in the middle?
What guy? What the hell's that? Who's that?
It's Tripwire. This is your band Tripwire.
Oh, there it is. You're going to throw it up there. There it is right there. Yeah, that's the band Tripwire. So anyways, I think there's a couple of bands now out there now called Tripwire. Anyways, I think it's the other one. Show me the previous one with the younger kids. I call them kids because now they'd be like my sons. Those guys there, I sent them. I remember I sent them a note, just a message saying, "Hey, you guys, I own the name Tripwire," right? And they're like, "Holy shit, man, we didn't know." Like they're really, really, really respectful, right? And I goes, "Don't worry, I'm not going to sue you or anything like that. I don't care." I said, "I'm really glad someone picked up that name because I thought it was a cool name," right? And they're like, they send me back, "Oh, dude, that's so nice of you to say that," and blah, 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 blah. I said, just whatever you do, when you're done with the name, pass it on to somebody else. Right?
I wonder if you're talking to that guy in the back with the trumpet.
I have no idea. Is there a trumpet back there?
Yeah, there was a little trumpet.
That's funny. That's funny. And then NetEase. What the hell is NetEase?
Never heard of it.
NetEase 4.83%, and then you got Deezer, and then you got the other, whatever the other is. That's 6.55%. Anyways, that's the other group.
Well,
anyway,
gentlemen, I have to run. I heard the garage open, which means that the other is home. So
the other is home. Well, we got to scooch anyway. We've been on here long enough and boring people to death.
Thanks for popping in, Andy.
Thanks for stopping in, Andy.
See you guys later. Have a good night.
See you later, man. Take care. Well, that was Andy McNamara, one of your faithfuls at Code Zero Radio.
And he's got a great show. He's got a great thing going there.
Yeah, yeah. I wish
I got to tell you, the banter between him and his brother at some points is just priceless. Those guys have a unique relationship.
and both with a great sense of humor, no doubt.
Yeah.
There.
They're
So
very,
there's a
very dry.
little pie chart. What's that? Very dry.
Fuck that pie chart.
Fuck that pie chart. It's gone. I just got rid of the pie
Okay.
chart. It's just you and me now. Oh, and you're Bob
Yes.
Minter now. You're not Dirk Vanderbeef no more.
Oh, wow. Huh.
Your name that that happened. Something
How'd
happened
that
there.
happen? Well, I am in the witness protection program.
Shane says, been an absolute blast. There we go. Got to go write some tunes. Peace. They're coaching for Sarah's working on a new DLA.
Where are they recording at?
Him and Lars are actually recording in like a home studio.
Cool.
And they send a friend of theirs that's not in the band actually plays all the bass for them. They lost two of the members of the band, but they're still producing music.
Oh, they did? I didn't know that.
Yeah, their original bassist and drummer are no longer with the band, so now they're Lars and Shane are on their own, but they're still producing music, some really good tunes actually. And I think you played a couple of them more recently. There's one called Tiff, and there's a couple of others that they play. Oh, Come Down. I think I sent you Come Down. Did I not send that to you? Did you ever remember playing it?
Mm-mm.
Oh, then you'll be able to play it on your new music because it's new to you. I'll send it to you. I'll send it to you. I thought maybe I sent that one to you. It's called Come Down. It's actually pretty good. It's a picture of a guy on I'll send you the artwork. It's a guy on the ground. There's a chick with heeled sandals with her foot on his head. That's their artwork for the song. It's kind of cool.
Well, what should we talk about next week?
Well, I don't know. What do you want to talk about next week? What do you want to talk about?
I'm thinking, the streaming thing was interesting, but when you get into the numbers, you kind of get lost with stats all over the place. And so maybe next week we could try something a little bit more grounded, I guess.
Yeah, I think it's I think the Spotify, the downside thing of the Spotify for me was, like you said, you get caught up in the minutia of it. But I think the whole thing is to actually, try and hide that from people, because I don't think people really want to know. They really want you to know how little the artists are actually making, and that's the sad part about it all, right?
Right, and that's something that has to be brought to light. Was mainstream media will touch upon it every once in a while. The music journalists will say, so-and-so said they only made this much money streaming, they had this many streams. But to really expose and bring to light how much they're not paying their artists, that needs to happen. I think we touched upon that tonight.
Yeah, and there's an article. I'm gonna put all the links to these articles on over there, but you'll see this other one. This is I don't know what it came from. It's from there it is. I'm gonna put it up on the screen again here. So this is an article called Ranker, and good thing they didn't call their name Wanker. And they talk about 24 musicians against Spotify and other streaming services. So, why they're not. So Prince was one of them. I mentioned that before, right? And it goes through a whole list of artists like the Beatles, Prince, Taylor Swift. Neil Young, that's more political, but Pink Floyd, Coldplay, Garth Brooks. I mean, these are fairly heavy hitters, right?
I didn't realize Garth Brooks did that. Did he pull his music from Spotify?
Well, they're against Spotify and other streaming services, and some of them have assigned exclusive deals, right? Like like the Beatles, for example, with their new movie that was signed exclusively to Disney, right? And you're seeing a lot more of these sort of exclusive things where a streaming service will pick up an artist and they'll just do that one artist alone, right? And so it becomes an exclusive deal. So I want my music on nothing but iTunes. So I sign an exclusive deal with iTunes. iTunes now, as I understand it, some of the streaming services are starting to act a little bit like record labels. In the sense that they will I don't know that this is happening, but I suspect it's happening. And I think if we dig deep enough, we'd probably find this is not nearly, in my estimation, a deep enough dive, because I honestly think that these streaming services now are signing exclusive deals with certain artists and giving them a different deal than everybody else.
Which is exactly what the record companies did before this.
Exactly.
That was the whole thing, exclusivity.
Yeah. And I go ahead, Bob.
Well, that's just a natural progression, I think. When you can start signing exclusive contracts, which will hopefully that they won't be quite as predatory as what the record labels were doing in the 70s and 80s.
Well, could you imagine if you're iTunes and the Beatles say, we're going to move all of our streaming music exclusively over to your platform. So you can't get Beatles music on Spotify, you can't get Untitled, you can't get anywhere else but on iTunes, right? And if you're a Beatle fan, you're going to go over to iTunes because you can stream. But the great thing about iTunes, it's one of the few streaming services where you actually own a singular personal license for every song you download to your library.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, it's included as part of the deal.
So if you were, let's do a hypothetical thing, since you're more connected to the what we're talking about. Let's say I'm in a band and we've got some really good material and we got a good regional following and it's getting bigger, right?
Right.
What if we were to come to you and say we want to distribute our music digitally? What would be our next step? What would you do?
Well, I mean, if you want to distribute your music digitally, right now it gets uploaded everywhere, right? So when I upload music and artwork for a band, it goes simultaneously out to 160 different platforms.
Is that what you would recommend to a band that's getting really popular, or would you try and narrow it down?
That's a shotgun approach, right? That ends up being a shotgun approach. I mean, I might, if the band was really, really popular and they knew, see, here's the problem with a lot of this right now is that you don't always know where your audience is going to come from until you put your music out there. Because how many artists, like as an artist, would you know how many of your fans would stream on iTunes versus Spotify versus Tidal versus iHeartRadio? There's like 160 of them out there, like Amazon Music. People are getting their music memberships at varying places. Price break point is some of it, right? Here was an interesting thing when where was it? It was a big market. Oh, it was when Amazon Music when Amazon went into China, right? They offered free music streaming memberships for any Prime member. Right? I think they did that in Mexico as well. Certain countries, they offered free music streaming with your Prime membership.
Yeah.
And for a lot of people, it made some sense for them, right? Because they were, if they're a big music listener, you get a free music streaming service. And most people are uploading to everybody. They're uploading to like 160 or whatever, right? And they're not picking one or two. But if a band knew and they said, no, we want everybody to go to iTunes to get our music. We want it exclusive to iTunes. You could do that.
Yeah. Well, wouldn't that increase the number of streams? Like instead of a stream here and a stream there and a stream there, if all of them were concentrated in one place, would that not be better for the band?
It would be better for the band if they picked the streaming service that paid the most per streams.
Right. Like iTunes.
Yeah, like iTunes is one of the highest paying. Actually, interesting enough, Tidal I think is the highest paying right now. I think they pay. I think there's something like 1/10 of a cent per stream.
Yeah, and Jay-Z set it up that way because he wanted to see the artist get more money.
Yeah, and that's why he did set it up that way. That was the story behind that when Jay-Z set it up. So that
Right.
was a wise move. I don't know what they're doing. Do you have you looked at how much Tidal is actually making?
No, I have not looked into that. I just know that Jack Dorsey's going to fuck it up.
Yeah, he'll hire some left-wing fact checkers, and they'll only be able to play liberal music on there.
Yeah, it destroyed Twitter. It really destroyed Twitter. Twitter is number 7 on the user chart as far as social media, and you would think it'd be 1 or 2 or 3, but it's not.
Yeah, I think Facebook has actually slid quite a bit too.
Yeah,
it's slid quite a bit.
There's still a big dog on the block, but
yeah, I know. I don't know how much longer that's going to hold the case, because didn't there was an exodus, I think, of January of people leaving Facebook.
Yeah.
And Facebook lost something like, it was weird. It was how much, I don't know. It was like, well, it was a lot of money. They lost a shitload of money.
Yeah.
Over a short period of time.
For them, but I think people are finally voicing their discontent with Facebook. Myself, I think it's crushing itself on its own weight. Facebook is so difficult to work with anymore because they've got so much code written, and it collapses. And there's every day there's something wrong with the website somewhere.
Yeah, I think there's definitely something afoot there. I keep looking at what's happening all around me, and like I said, I think we didn't take quite a deep enough dive tonight into there, but I don't know if that's something that necessarily people want to talk about all the time. So next week, let's talk music next week.
We should talk music because that's what we're real about.
Yeah, independent music.
I definitely want to do this again because I think this was I think this was good.
I'm gonna end the stream here, and just stick with me for a second. I'm gonna spin one tune as we go out, and I'm gonna play that.
I'm playing myself.
You can listen to this tune. You can actually listen to this tune. It's a cool tune. I'm gonna get rid of. Let me see, where it is. It we got on there. I don't know. Let's go.
Need your producer there.
I know. It's tough being a chief cook and bottle washer, man.
Yeah.
You're trying to do that and share videos and talk, and my mind just doesn't want to work.
My pre-show show is usually a train wreck.
Okay, this is a tune called "Stiff Drink." This is by Jesse Wilson, Jeremy's buddy. Stiff Drink. This is why it should be like a whiskey sponsor for us.
Yeah, 1027 Studios, let's go. Got the boss man naked, said he needs some more action, been punching that clock all week. I'm just trying to make a living, all these hours I'm giving, need to rest my aching free. No matter how hard I try, the money is tight, I hope this ship don't sink. I could use a real stiff drink.
That's Stiff Drink. That's Jesse Wilson out of Fort Dodge, Iowa. All right, and we've been here with my buddy Bob Minter from Code Zero WCZR. We're the home
New rock,
of
the new radio.
Yeah, rock the new radio, baby. Thanks for joining me tonight, Bob. We're going to end this stream. I'm going to talk to you right in a minute as soon as I end this. Talk to you guys later. Take care.